All right, welcome to episode 17. I am Billy Goat. That is Paul. Happy 9/11, Paul.
Yeah. Yeah. Never forget.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, I guess it's happy start to 20-year war days.
yeah. Yeah. Shout out to all the victims and everybody
First
who
responders, all yeah, all that good
first
stuff.
responders, everybody who was helping
Um,
out in a positive
if
way
there's
with
any
that.
if there's any disclaimers we need to say, I'm not a doctor, neither is Paul.
Nope. Nor am I an
But
engineer or a pilot.
I did stay at a Holiday Inn once, so maybe I am uh, copacetic today. I don't know. I'm kind of half out of it today. Tomorrow's my first day of work. I'm half nervous.
Yeah, that's awesome. Congrats.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Before we
I,
move
I
on from 9/11, I do want to recommend anybody who maybe hasn't seen it. It's episode 12. Wake me up when September ends. We cover
yeah,
a lot of.
we dive into it.
Yeah, we don't have to, but I'd recommend that
Yeah,
anybody who hasn't
no,
seen it watch the episode.
which reminds me that video I went to send you the other day of now I can't remember the guy's name who was on it, but you recognize the host, right? The guy with the blonde hair. You've seen him before. He's on a bunch of stuff.
What video were we referencing?
The one I sent to you and Jim that he talks about some of the stuff that we talked about.
Yeah,
Did you watch any of it?
I skipped. I didn't watch the whole thing. I actually skipped to the part where they talk about Building 7 because they had timestamps on the bottom of it,
Oh, okay.
and he didn't say anything
Yeah, I
essentially.
agree. I think when it comes to the conspiracy theory part about like how the buildings fall and yada yada yada, he wasn't very good. He was good at a couple of the other more obscure conspiracy theories. Um, like some of the rant, not like the ones that actually could possibly make sense. Some of the weird ones, like a lot of the coincidences. Like there was a two buildings in the Little Mermaid or some shit. You know what I mean? Or like the folding of the dollar bill. Like there's no
Yeah,
um, there was a word for it. He used it. He said it a lot at the end. Like it's not pre-disclosure or something to use it as like a way to prep people. And he's like, that could be real, but I don't think it was used here. But regardless, his information about the victims, he fucking knew everybody. And I guess he runs a tour guide business for things in DC, but he's like a 9/11. I don't know if he's like an expert, but considered an expert. But he knows like a lot of the stories. He went to visit a lot of the families and a lot of like you know the timestamp of who was on what floor and who saved who and who was the falling guy and who was the person who waved. You know what I mean? Like all like the famous people you see from the pictures. And
yeah,
uh, and then he talked a little bit about like 9/11 lungs. Obviously, it's the asbestos and like how many people have died and who died before they said it was a real thing and who died after and uh, some of the smaller stuff like who gets put on the memorial, you know what I mean, and who didn't make it, and there was like a different memorial for the people who died uh, of after or like breathing in the asbestos or something like that. But because you can't really determine, how the insurance companies go, right? It's hard. Did he actually die of this or did he actually die of that? Instead of putting like everybody's name on the memorial, it just says it's a separate memorial, but near the 9/11 memorial, and it just says something like to all those who passed because of whatever the word I can't think of right now.
yeah. So I mean, it was a long video. It was like
Yeah, it was a
three
long time.
hours. So yeah, I didn't invest the time to watch the whole thing.
Oh,
But
I get
so
it.
so I was
I,
like, yeah, let me just skip ahead to Building 7 real quick and see what he says about that, so I can try to determine whether I think this guy's like you know legit or not, for lack of a better word. And yeah, he didn't explain anything about 7 whatsoever. He basically was just like, well, yeah, it was hit from debris and the building was so poorly built that it just collapsed.
no, he blames the
Okay.
fire. He said everything was because of fires.
Well, why did it catch on fire to begin with? So
He, I'm not defending the dude. I'm just saying
no, I know.
he was more of like, yeah, it doesn't melt steel, but it softens it or whatever. His excuses weren't good enough, so it's not even a point to get into them. But his knowledge of like where people were, like he talked about stairwell 8, which is a bunch of people. survived in there or were coming down, and um, little things like that. But anyway, his knowledge of it, besides the conspiracy part, is really, I mean, the first hour itself is worth the listen just for his knowledge on the history of the building and the people. I mean, like there's a giant game the night before, so people got to work late. You know, like all this weird stuff about people who everyone's story about how it touched them. You know, I mean, it was really interesting stuff. So we should probably link it to the bottom if anybody wants to watch. And I can't remember the guy's name, the host, for the life of me.
Yeah, I can do that. While we're on the 9/11 thing too, and by the way, I'm not discrediting that guy. I don't really know anything about him. You know,
Yeah.
and again, I didn't even watch the whole thing. I just watched the one segment. But one of the things that I'd actually forgot to insert into our episode is the reporting on Building 7. So I actually sent it to you earlier on
Oh
X.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
if you watched it already, great. But so yeah, the BBC, you know, the news station in the UK reports on Building 7 collapsing, and in the background, when you see the woman talking, you can see the building still
Yeah.
standing in the background.
Now, more on the latest building collapse in New York. You might have heard a few moments ago I was talking about the Salomon Brothers building collapsing. And indeed it has. It seems that this was not a result of a new attack. It was because the building had been weakened during this morning's attacks. We'll probably find out more now about that from our correspondent, Jane Stanley. Jane, what more can you tell us about the Salomon Brothers building and its collapse?
Well, only really what you already know. Details are very, very sketchy. As you can see behind me, the Trade Center appears to be still burning. We see these huge clouds of smoke and ash, and we know that behind that there's an empty piece of what was a very familiar New York skyline, a symbol of the financial prosperity of this city, but completely disappeared now, and New York is still unable to take on board what has happened to them today.
I don't know, just another bit of information that makes you go, "What?"
Yeah, it could just be a coincidence that they got it wrong. You know, what I mean, that doesn't say
It's a hell of a
much.
coincidence, but sure, yeah,
Yeah,
it could be.
but there was a lot of fucking coincidences that day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, but besides that, yeah, how many years has it been now?
Oh, yeah,
23.
like 23 years, I think, something like that.
It's because some people like, and I've said this before, but not on the show. But like, think about like my sister's kids. They haven't known life before 9/11. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Their whole life has been, we were at war in two countries, at least two countries. Not to mention the ones we don't really talk about.
Well, that's pretty much been all our lives for the most part. You know, we've always pretty much been at war. You
Yeah,
know.
but I'm saying we like lived through the end of the Cold War. We were young,
Yeah,
but I
but
mean,
you know, we were just Russians are bad. That's what we were taught. You know.
that's not what I'm talking about. Like it's they've only known like 20 years. You know what I mean? 22 years of war in Afghanistan and in
Oh,
Iraq. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Like when we were graduating high school, it was like, oh, you know, maybe I'll get stationed in the Middle East or around the world. It wasn't like I'm going to war. You know what I mean?
That's
Like
true.
you're signing up to go to war, depending on what age you are when 9/11 happened.
Well, I mean, outside of Trump's term, right, where you could argue with, I don't think we were at war with anybody during Trump's term. But outside of
Like,
that,
Trump did not start any new wars. We were at war with plenty of countries.
okay. So, well, outside of like, you know, like little things that the United States or the U.S. media doesn't regularly report on, there was maybe one period of war or one period where we didn't have war, and that was kind of like the mid to late 90s. At least I can't
Yeah,
think of one.
in between the first Gulf War and the second Gulf War, or
Yeah,
Iraq.
or after the Gulf War in Iraq or Iraq rather, up until 9/11. Because once the Iraq Gulf
Yeah, that's
War,
what I'm saying. Yeah,
yeah,
the first Iraq Gulf War to Iraq Afghanistan
and yeah, we
2001.
may have been involved in, you know, whatever, you know, just wasn't, you know, regular public knowledge for, I think, for most of us,
Well,
you know.
it's not. It depends. I mean, it's not like we're doing. I'm not talking about co-op like secret bombings and assassinations. I'm talking like
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm
like when
excluding like coups and
yeah, like
secret stuff.
when after 9/11 we went into Iraq, we went to Afghanistan, and then under Obama we went into Yemen, Libya, Syria, Libya. Right? Did I say Libya already?
Yeah, you said Libya. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, Yemen, Libya, Syria. Who am I missing? There's four. Omar Gaddafi was Libya, right? We
Mm-hmm.
overthrew Omar Gaddafi.
Yep.
Syria is that dude with the little mustache, Assad, Bashar, or whatever his name is. He's still technically there, I think, right? Where there's like four wars going on inside Syria right now. Yemen, obviously, we've been in there for a minute, and I'm missing one. It'll come to me in a second. Lebanon? Yeah, Lebanon. Okay, yeah, Libya, Lebanon, Yemen, and Syria, and then under Biden, we got Trump. We got no new wars, but he did move the embassy in to Jerusalem, which is a little poke in the eye. He did send a bunch of weapons over to Ukraine, further enforcing that NATO push, but he didn't make any moves on expanding NATO. Just reinforced a couple of weapon shipments that were already going to Ukraine, and and then Biden came in, and we're obviously. I mean, we don't have soldiers on the ground technically that we really know of. I mean, there's probably advisors and special forces involved, but Iraq, I mean, Ukraine and Gaza, or
Yeah.
Israel's beef in general.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's just I don't.
And it's not like anything happened. I mean, look, we went into Afghanistan to kill the Taliban, then we left, and the Taliban's stronger and still in charge.
Yeah, it accomplished nothing
You could
essentially
argue
except killed a
that.
bunch of people.
I mean, you could argue that, yay, we killed Saddam, but are the Iraqi people better off without Saddam than they were before? I don't know. I'm sure
Yeah.
there's an argument for it.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, obviously a lot of people were killed, on both sides. More so probably on the opposing side, unfortunately,
Mhm.
and I'm sure a lot of them were, innocent people that maybe had nothing to do with any of this stuff. So it's just really sad, that things like this happen.
Yeah, well,
So
people, it's the world. Did you
yeah,
watch? Let's get through the three videos real quick, and then we'll get into the bullshit. We'll just start talking about whatever.
okay. Well, speaking of war and controlling things, I wanted to share this. It's really quick. We don't even have to talk about it. I just want to share it with you just so the people can hear it. If I can figure out how to expand it. Why won't it expand? I think I broke this
Did you
thing.
watch the debate? We can talk
No,
about
I
that.
was going to ask you about it. Let's
We'll
get
get
there
to
in a
it.
minute though.
Yeah, I don't want to get off track too much.
Yeah, let's get there in a minute. Let me just play this. It's very short. This is John Rockefeller.
We are grateful to the Washington Post, the New York Times, Time Magazine, and other publications whose directors have attended our meetings and restricted their policies of discretion for almost 40 years. It would have been impossible for us to develop our plan for the world if we had been subject to the bright lights of publicity. But the world is now more sophisticated and prepared to march toward a world government.
I'm just going to leave it there.
Well, he sounds like
That was
he could
David
be.
Rockefeller, by the way. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He sounds like that could have been a meeting last week at the WEF. You know what I
That's what
mean?
it sounds like to me. Like
It's,
it's like some Bilderberg, WEF, Davos shit to me.
yeah, he could be sitting there with Schwab and all them. Just
Well, the one thing that he does say again, it would be difficult for us to achieve this through the bright lights of publicity. So you're saying if the public knew about it, whatever it is that you were doing, it would have been difficult to achieve that.
yeah, I heard a good analysis of talking about history the other day, and like was too like history is just like it's like his story. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then it makes sense when the winners decide who gets to hear what and how it's written. But history is just the cover up of awful crimes throughout the time.
Yeah, well, we know history is written by the winners, and it's going to be full of truthful things and some twisted truths and maybe some straight up lies.
It's the cover up of awful events that humans do to each other to make someone look like there was a good guy and a bad guy. When in a sense, there's not really one most of the time.
Sure, and I think that's human nature. Like for example, the Tyreek Hill thing. I was just talking about to my pops about it earlier. And we both basically agreed, like, hey, the cops absolutely used excessive force. It was completely unnecessary to rip him out of the car. However, could Tyreek Hill have handled that situation better? Yeah, he could have. Now, again, I'm not saying that he was deserving of what happened to him. I thought the cops were completely out of line. But he was kind of uncooperative and dickish in a way. And I feel like, yeah, he didn't deserve what happened to him, but I feel like he could have handled it better.
Yeah, have you seen? I didn't watch all the body cam footage. Like the original thing I saw was like that couple that recorded him. He was already on the ground. The first video that broke. And then I saw that there's the police body cam of like the second motorcycle cop. And then I heard he was going like 105 and a 55.
Sure, maybe he was. And that's
Yeah.
extremely dangerous, and he deserved to be pulled over and ticketed for all of that. But does he deserve to be ripped out of the car?
No, of course not.
So I guess what I'm trying to say at the end of the day is they're both at fault. But had like we not had cameras, right? Like, say we have no footage of this incident whatsoever, and you ask Tyreek Hill what happened, and then you ask the cops what happened. You're gonna get two different versions. Yeah, they're gonna coincide in some manner. Like, there's gonna be some truth that both sides speak, but there's also gonna be maybe some false things that both sides might share. Again, I'm not insinuating that they would lie or mislead people, but I think that's just human nature in general. To when you're arguing your side of the story, you tend to embellish things that you want people to pay attention to, and maybe kind of ignore or just straight up don't mention other things that maybe paint you in a bad light, or maybe raise some questions to your motives.
Okay. So should history and journalism be like that just because that's human nature?
No, I think we should just report the facts.
It was me and Bob. We was at Safeway. Then that nigga Bob said this. Then I punched that nigga, and then I broke out. That's the story.
All right, we'll go to what video do I have for you?
So yeah, we got two. So the first one is these Russian guys versus a drone.
Watch this.
I've seen a couple of these videos. I may have actually already seen this one.
I'm surprised that these two bastards don't shoot each other when trying to shoot the drone down.
All right, let's watch it.
Watch this one part when it's spinning around.
Oh man, yeah, how did he not shoot that dude? Oh wow. I'm assuming he survived? What a smart move. If he survived, that was brilliant.
Yeah, well, there's a chance to survive, and if he didn't, I mean, look at that thing. That's some Call of Duty shit, man. Like, they fly around with the bomb.
Yep.
And then, there's somebody else at the other end with a stick right now trying to fucking get him. Playing Nintendo.
Yeah. Now, this is the future of warfare. We've talked about it, I think, at least once.
Yeah, now go to the next one. Now, this is at the beach somewhere. But
Sochi.
Okay. So these guys at the beach find a naval mine that washed up ashore, and they're just touching the thing. I mean, maybe the other side you can tell it blew up or it's obviously not working, but I can't tell from this angle. And these guys are touching a mine.
It's natural selection right there.
We rolling around and shit.
Right? That's a naval mine, right?
Yeah.
Like for like submarines and stuff, right?
Boats. Like the way they usually work, like some are magnetic, so obviously if a boat goes by it, it gets attracted to it and then blows up. But that looks like the ones that have like the sensors look like spikes. So like if the ship bumps into it and hits the spike, the thing would blow up. And they're usually like anchored to the bottom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they float up to whatever depth that the ships would be at to blow them up from the bottom.
Well, fortunately for these guys, this one looks like a dud. But
Yeah, obviously. I mean that's what I'm saying. They might be able to tell something I can't from the angle of this camera.
yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't touch that thing though.
Did you know that Laos is still has a ridiculous amount of ordnance that still can blow up that's on the ground right now, considering mines and bombs.
Really, Laos?
Laos, yeah, we bombed the shit out of them during Vietnam because the Ho Chi Minh Trail was going through. You know how like Vietnam's a long country as
Uh
opposed to
huh.
like and Laos and stuff, Cambodia next to it are also like long because of the
Yeah.
valleys and rivers and stuff. So the North was going through Laos and cutting in to attack the South in Vietnam. So we were not at war with Laos, but we were bombing the shit out of Laos all the way up the Ho Chi Minh Trail, and only 2/3 of the bombs blew up. That was our average when we were dropping those things. So like to this day, they're finding them. I saw like I forget what I was watching. It was something about I think I was curious on Laos's geography, right? So then they got into like just showing villages, and they just have all these bombs lined up on the sides of the houses and stuff. They just find them all the time.
Wow, it's crazy. And yeah, you said like a third of them didn't even explode, so they
Yeah,
could still be live.
yeah. There's like hundreds of thousands of them.
Wow. Well, way to go, USA. Uh,
Okay, USA.
So you didn't watch any of the debate, huh?
no, I actually was working and I saw a couple clips of it and then I read some stuff about it, but no, I didn't.
All right, let me try to be honest about it. All right,
Yeah, yeah.
I guess hypothetically, Kamala won the debate because she didn't look as bad as Trump. It's not like she was saying truthful things. Like it turned into a lot of under her, under him. He did this, she said that. It's going to be worse. No, no, it'll be worse. Um, and then like so again, I guess hypothetically, you could say that Kamala won because Trump looked really bad. I've never seen him look as bad as he did. He looked, excuse me, he looked flustered at times. Um, I don't know. Maybe she got to him. She seemed more prepared. You could tell that some of her stuff was definitely she repeated it enough to remember it.
Yeah, like pre rehearsed. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's fine. She really didn't go off script much, which was in her part, which is good. Um, and I guess technically, like everyone thought she was going to bomb it, so by her not bombing it, almost makes her a winner.
Makes her look better, yeah.
Yeah, but besides that, she did look better than Trump. But it's not like either of them were saying things that I agreed with. She looked better spewing shit than he did.
People were saying that she had a hearing device and
Oh
her
no,
hearing.
I
I,
saw that. I saw that this morning. I'll tell you. Hold on.
yeah,
I
go
saw
ahead.
saw that this morning, and it looked like it could have been this like earbud earring that is being made, but it's under a Kickstart thing to make more. So they've made a few, but they
Mhm.
want to make more, so they need money to ramp up production. Or it's like this like $7,000 Tiffany earring. And if you look close at Kamala's ear, it looks more like the Tiffany earring is the right one.
I
But
heard I saw that. Yeah.
he's got to look carefully because they show you the up close picture of the model's ear, and then they show you like a kind of one of Kamala. But if you look close enough, you could. It seems to me that she was not wearing that a hearing device in her earring.
Well,
Based on
somebody under one of the comments actually made a good point, and they said, "Do you think, Kamala, if she was going to use an earpiece, if they were going to have her use one, do you think she's using some Kickstarter program or some $40 earbud that you would buy off of Amazon? Like, no, she's
yeah,
going to have some high tech specialty one. I'm not going there. I don't know. Maybe it was just an earring, but I
yeah,
just
she was more likely to have contacts that were giving her the answers inside that she got from the
could
CIA.
be. Where
I mean,
nowadays, I mean, you could put something like in your ear, like to the point where nobody would even see it anyway. So
yeah,
it's kind of a mute point whether she, was wearing it or not, because Donald Trump could have had an earpiece in and we wouldn't have seen it,
true,
you know.
true. But
So I did see that though.
and then let's see what else that I'm trying to see that was like fact checked today. Uh, you could tell that. I mean, I could tell, but I expected it that the moderators were definitely not on Trump's side. But you kind of knew that going in to ABC and it being corporate media. You know what I mean? He
Yeah,
probably,
that's what people were saying was that Trump was actually debating three people.
yeah, and he might have been, but he had to kind of expect that going in. You know,
Yeah, of course.
I think he thought he could handle her, and she uh, just seemed a little bit more prepared. Let's see what else. She said something about Trump said something about immigrants and healthcare and transgender shit surgeries. And then they're like, oh, that's not true. That's not true. Um,
That she
and
said that.
she said it in a 2019 questionnaire for something else. So she didn't say illegal aliens. She said people in the prison system, including illegals or whatever.
I saw that earlier. Yeah, the fact checkers fact checked her and said, yeah, she actually did say that.
That they were standing in the way of surgery.
For prisoners.
For prisoners. And there was a specific case. And when I learned about the case, I worked behind the scenes to not only make sure that that transgender woman got the services she was deserving. So it wasn't only about that case. I made sure that they changed the policy in the state of California so that every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access to the medical care that they desired and need. And I believe it was not only, I know it was historic in California, but I believe actually it may have been one of the first, if not the first in the country, where I pushed for that policy in a Department of Corrections.
What was the other one? That's all I can think of off the top of my head. Maybe more will come to me while we're talking.
So there's been one big.
The eating of the animal.
That's where I was just about to go there. Go ahead.
If you look at the one video of the lady eating the cat in the driveway, the one she like stomped its head.
I got it pulled up right now. So
that woman isn't an immigrant. She's like been here. She's just a crazy person in Ohio, in a town not close to JD Vance's town or Springfield where the other shit is happening. Now, if you listen to the dude in the red who's giving a speech to the town hall in his town, and he's like, what the hell's going on? He said, these Haitians are everywhere. They're taking ducks out of the pond. You know, they're trapping animals, but he had no proof. There's a video of a dude with a goose, and then there's a video of a dude who caught looks like a seagull, and then there's a picture of a dude with a swan. Now, I've seen pictures of people with the animals, but I've never seen anybody cooking them. Now, the couple that I've seen that are supposed to be people cooking cats, one's really old. And the other ones are like, even if the person was cooking a cat, they wouldn't be doing it like that. One is like, has a cat on a stick over the stove.
yeah, with its fur and everything. I saw that. Yeah,
I'm like, that's ridiculous. And then there's the other one, the one that's old. There's like 4 planks and a little fire in the thing, and the guy's like putting a cat on top of it. Like that's how he's going to cook it. So even if it was going to be cooked by a person who skinned it and killed it and did all that, they wouldn't cook it like that. You know, it makes no
it doesn't
sense.
make sense. Yeah, I mean, you know what doesn't make sense to me is why did Trump even go there again? Why would you even bring this up in the debate?
Well,
How is this going to help?
It was all over Twitter yesterday.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I know.
You know how it is. Trump looks at social media and he reacts to it.
I know, but that's one of the things that I would have like said to myself, like, okay, Paul, we're not talking about this tonight.
Well,
This
I feel
what good is going to come from this? Go ahead.
you look at the way Trump responds to some of the shit that she says. Like you can tell that I don't know, he's like it's almost like he catches himself trying to go. He's like, I shouldn't be going this way. I'm going to go this way. And he ends up sounding really stupid a couple times. He's like, let me tell you about, she's not right about power lines. And the power lines we're doing, and he's like, immigration. You know what I mean? Like he's trying to get back on something he can knock her with. But he didn't even do a good job knocking her with immigration, which he could have easily gotten her for.
Well, like, I watched his closing statement, which I thought he was brilliant at the beginning. He was basically reiterating what I was saying the other day. Like, you've had 3 years and you've done nothing about any of these things. Why don't you stop talking about it, show up to work tomorrow, and start doing the damn work instead of sitting here yapping about it?
Many times.
What's that?
He said it so many times.
He said it too many times, and then he, like, went into this dissertation afterwards about, like, oh, how she's not going to... And I was like, dude, you killed it. Because it, like, killed it in a bad way. Because I felt like that was a really good point. Like, he could have just closed with 3 sentences, like, well, you say you're going to do all these things, but you've been in there for 3.5 years, and none of the shit's done. So why don't you just go to work tomorrow, do your fucking job, and let's go. And I would have just closed it out like that. But nope, not Trump.
She brought up the border bill that was brought up like 6 months ago that Trump, when Mike Johnson first became the Speaker of the House. And it was that bullshit border bill that was gonna it was just it was just a funding bill. We talked about it.
Oh yeah.
So what if Trump had just he might have said something like this, and I wasn't paying attention because I thought I saw an article mention it today, but all he's got to say is you were in charge of the border, right? Or the bill that you're trying to say that I torpedoed on purpose for political gain, you didn't need a bill to fix the border. Why did you and Joe Biden, and you, because you're the border czar, why did you remove all my presidential
immigration policies?
Well, yeah, but it's not. It's like a presidential decree. It's not a law that has to get passed through the House. So he put on all these rules for the border, and then when Joe came in, he got rid of them, and the numbers shot up because that's what would happen. So, like, why wouldn't you ask her about that? Like, stop saying you needed the border bill to fix what you turned off when all you have to do is pass a presidential or do a presidential decree, whatever the fuck it's called, and put them right back. Why didn't you guys do that? What was the point of you letting all these people in?
Yeah.
Why are you in California and other places like that so looking and pressing so hard to pass legislation that gives these people driver's licenses, the ability to work, and the ability to register to vote?
Right.
I mean, like, I don't understand why you don't keep it simple. I mean, she's been in there for 4 years. You like all your failures, they don't even care about it anymore. Because the biggest beef I have with Trump is his inflation. And you could bang him for that all day, but the Democrats can't say that because they blame inflation on greedy companies because they do the same thing by spending money. So to call out Trump on inflation, they would actually end up calling out themselves, so they can't do it.
Yeah. It's kind of like you're a drug dealer and somebody comes and robs your drugs, you can't call the cops. I mean, like, they stole all my crack. Okay. Where do you live again?
No, that's like calling another drug dealer to say that someone stole your drugs, and then he's like, I don't sell drugs.
No, I mean, like, if you're a drug dealer and somebody breaks into your house and steals all your crack, you can't, like, call the cops after that because you'd be ratting out not only the other person, but you'd be exposing yourself. And I was trying to make an analogy, but anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't work for inflation.
Anyway, yeah, let's move on. So, yeah, I'm with you, though. I don't understand, like, I know he's a busy man. But are you telling me you didn't have, like, some bullet points of, like, when this topic comes up, I have these bullet points that I want to make sure that I drive home about my policies and bullet points that I want to drive home to expose the lack of her policies, right?
He kind of did. It's just they really kept saying the same thing over and over again. Like, sometimes they wouldn't even answer the question. They would just say the same thing they said 2 questions ago. but never about the same thing. It was always like, she hates fracking and wants to take your guns. He must have said she hates fracking 15 times, and then she says, "I don't hate fracking," and like they had the bullet points you said that they should have had. I feel like they had them and just kept repeating them no matter what. They only had 5 each, and they just kept repeating the same shit. Like I didn't want to turn it off because I wanted to see what would happen. But honestly, dude, I started playing on the other TV. I turned on fucking Xbox or PlayStation. And I was playing Battlefield. Like I listened to it in the background, but like, and again, it doesn't matter because I hate both these motherfuckers anyway. I'm not going to vote for either one.
Yeah, same. But obviously, this is this is
Okay,
important.
when it comes to the people that still believe in them, I don't think that debate swayed a single person in anyone's direction. If anything, I think more people were like, these two suck, and I'm going to sit this one out. I don't think they gained a single voter or swayed a single person to at
Yeah,
least vote for.
I don't know. Like I said, it's
It.
just go ahead.
And if you go on the internet and it's the same people defending, like it doesn't matter if Trump wiped the floor with her or if she wiped the floor with him.
Oh
The
yeah,
same the
yeah,
same
yeah,
people be saying the same thing no matter what.
yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't understand. Like again, of all things that I want to talk about with immigration, where I want to make this person, look like they're not doing their job. Cats. That's where you're going with why even go there? Although I do want to say that I love the cat memes that have showed up on X now. They're actually fucking hilarious.
Oh, with
Have you
Trump like
seen some of
holding.
them? Yeah, there's like one like an AI one of him riding a giant cat with an AR. Like it's just so stupid, but it makes me laugh.
One of the ones it's like I guess they're like Trump's like saving your pets. There's like one with him swimming, holding like a goose and a cat out of the water, and he like going through battle.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't even think this is all necessarily going on, but the memes that we're getting out of it are fantastic. As far
Uh,
as I've seen, it's just been this one lady, and like you said, she may not even be an immigrant. I don't know.
no,
And we
she's
don't,
not. I'm pretty sure I read something that she's been here for like 30 years or something.
yeah, maybe she has. I don't know because she doesn't really talk in the video.
No,
Um,
she's a cat.
yeah, she don't really say shit. The only reason we know she was eating the cat is because the witnesses say that they saw her eating it. So, yeah, obviously, and the cops just at least put her in the back of the car. I'm assuming they arrest her, but who knows?
Yes. What are you doing, you wacko?
I don't know. And why are you out in like outside doing this shit?
Dude, I don't know. I mean, she's probably because she's mentally ill, Paul.
Very well. Yeah, that's likely the explanation.
One of the times I was coming back, I had to come back from DC to Jersey. So, and my train was super early, so I had to catch an Uber. It was like before the subway was even running. And so I took the Uber down to Union, and a couple blocks from my house, I remember we turn off to make this left, and there's a lady half naked in the street running.
Oh, I see that all the time.
And she jumped on someone else's car. But I'm like, dude, it's like 5:30 in the morning. It's like breaking of daylight.
This place is perfect. You're gonna make friends in no time.
Get me out of here! Here, just eat that! Leave us alone!
What the fuck?
And we like don't even say anything. We're like, well, that's just normal for here.
I see that shit all the time here. Yeah, totally normal. I don't know how many. I haven't even been here that long, and I've seen a couple naked people. Just some of them don't even know they're naked. I don't know if they're just so high on drugs or they're so out of it. This one girl literally I saw. I don't know, a couple months ago. She literally had her pants around her knees, no underwear, no nothing, just standing outside 7-Eleven. I thought about saying something to her, but I don't think she was there. So like, even if I had, made it simple, like a simple sentence, I don't think she would have grasped that I was even speaking to her. So I was just like, okay.
What's funny is after I moved out of there, I was watching one of those videos of like, caught in Silver Spring, two people fight on a bus. And I recognized one of the guys fighting on the bus because he's a homeless dude who lived like he was down in my area a lot. And I'd talk to him all the time because I was still drinking back then.
Right.
So, like I would sit outside and talk to these guys while they'd be sitting there drinking too, and I had nothing else to do besides be a drunk. So and it's funny because I would see this dude all the time. And then I see him on the bus he was fighting another homeless dude on the bus.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, some
I
funny
talk to
shit.
homeless people all the time. I mean, I don't always get to talk to the same ones because this is a big city and there's a shit ton of homeless people here. But yeah, I speak with them all the time. But I also see them all the time because they're
Yeah,
everywhere.
I knew the people in my neighborhood because I was out walking around all the time.
Yeah.
So I got to know, and I lived close enough to like the main parts of Silver Spring that if the homeless weren't in the concentrated downtown, they were walking around the outskirts, and you know what I mean. So I'd still see them just because they weren't like outside the 7-Eleven every day.
Yeah.
I saw like I'd be like, that's the 7-Eleven guy, or that's the one who always stands on that corner, and that's the one who always stands on that corner, and that's the one who's always in front of my house. You know, this is the guy who always tries to sneak inside.
Yeah. We have so I live right next to a business complex, and a lot of them sleep in the business complex. And there's a security guard there at night, and he's always kicking them out and stuff. But I see them there all the time. I don't rat them out. I leave them be. But they also sleep in not in my complex, but like in the front of my complex. There's like a grassy area with like these bushes, and there's one or two of them that typically sleep there. This one older guy. Um, I've actually tried talking to him before, but so there's like I can't converse with him. I've tried, but I can't do it.
When I lived in DC the first time, and I was up by American University when I was going to school, um, they had a big, beautiful library, really nice library, but it's open to public. And there was always this one guy in there, and even in the summertime, mad layers of clothes on, and he's like, I'm not trying to be a dick, but this motherfucker smelled so bad that like if you were in like 5 rows of him or anywhere in his area, he it was just unbearable. And I always, but the thing I remember about the guy, besides that, and I'd see him a lot, but he always had all these different bottles of water, and he was constantly pouring the waters into each other. You know what I mean? Like he had 4 in his bag, he had them in his pockets, and he was always
Oh,
mixing
like
the.
consolidating his water into one bottle?
No, he would just pour the same one back and forth sometimes.
Oh.
Hey, Mikey, go to the bathroom.
I mean, I forget
Maybe
what
it was an OCD thing or something, or
I don't know.
maybe it brought him joy or something. Who knows?
Yeah, he's probably some kind of crazy schizophrenic. I mean,
Maybe.
I forget what it is, but like, it's not uncommon that homeless wear a lot of clothes, even in the brutal heat, because it's something upstairs. It's not like because they don't want to lose their wardrobe and they wear it all at once. It's like they wear all these clothes because they're crazy upstairs.
Yeah, I mean,
tell me about it once because we talked about it.
And we have one that comes into my work. I don't know if I told you about him, but he's actually kind of brilliant. He panhandles a bunch of money. He comes in, he buys a movie ticket, and then he goes in the theater and sleeps, right? Which makes total sense to me because it's hot as fuck in Vegas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially like a couple weeks ago it was 115. Like I'd have to be, there's no way I'd be able to sleep outside. It's way too damn hot, even in the shade. So this guy, he comes in, he sleeps in the theater, the movie ends, and he just doesn't get up, and he just can. And most of the time, like 99 out of 100 times, the dude doesn't bother anybody. He's literally just, sleeping. He's quiet. He's not disrupting anybody. So I just let him be. Like we're supposed to kick him out, after his movie's over. But if I see him, I just leave him alone because I can't say I blame the dude.
Let him stay there till the next movie starts. You know what I mean?
I'll let him stay there until we're ready to close at the end of the night. If he's not bothering nobody and he's just sleeping, I have zero problem with that. If the management wants him out, y'all can kick him out. Go for it. But yeah, it's a lot of homeless people. There's the old stereotype that they're all on drugs and that they're all crazy, and that's just not true. Like, yeah, some of them are. Some of them are completely out there, like the lady with her pants down, by her knees. She was definitely gone. But yeah, no, a lot of them are actually with it, and it's unfair for I think for us to assume that they're all either drug addicts or they're all just gone.
Yeah. I mean, that goes without saying. I'm not trying to imply nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I think when we see like a lot of like homeless video footage and stuff, it can be tough to understand that. Especially like you look at Kensington, especially nowadays, it's really sad with the trank and everybody's bent over in half, and
Yeah,
you
that
know,
shit's wild.
oh my God, it's sad and crazy and all at the same time.
I don't know. It's funny. Like I told you the last time, like I can watch videos of people getting robbed, people getting murdered, blown up, crazy shit on drugs. I don't care. But I saw that cop shoot that dog, and I almost cried. Man, I was so upset.
Yeah.
I was like, watch this. This is terrible.
Yeah. There's some things I have a problem watching, and yeah, cruelty to animals is one of them. Um, well, I was telling you I think a couple weeks ago, a month or two ago, about that Komodo dragon or whatever that eats the goat, and I
Oh
just
yeah,
felt so bad for this fucking goat. Again, I get it. It's like it's survival of the fittest and nature and all that, but I just felt really bad for the fucking goat.
one of the um, one of the animal documentaries I watched was it was the like that same question, like the camera people, to the journalist or the animal observer researcher, you know, do you interfere or not interfere sometimes because you feel bad for like the lion, or you feel bad for the goat or the baby zebra, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely not a job that I would want. Because yeah, it would probably tug at my heartstrings. But I understand it's nature, so nature's gonna nature, whether we're there to film it or not.
Yeah.
Um,
I did watch a badger take on three wolves the other day.
yeah, how'd that go?
The badger held his own.
Oh no shit.
They stopped. They left him alone. I thought they had him a couple times. But that little bastard just growling and jumping and screaming at him.
Fucking honey badger wasn't having it.
Hey, badger, hell yeah, man. Shit, ruthless.
Now watch this. Look, a snake's up in the tree. Honey badger don't care. Honey badger don't give a shit. It just takes what it wants.
Oh man, those videos are funny. Whatever happened to honey badger?
Look,
Honey badger don't give a fuck.
I wish that, like, I don't even want to talk about the the debate. I hate that we even talked about it because it was so awful, dude.
Well,
Like,
we had to talk about it.
no, but
We
it's
have.
like it's such a tragedy that this is what we have to work with.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't know. I don't know what to expect in November. I know what to expect if Kamala wins. I don't know what to expect if Trump wins, and
What do you think happens if Kamala wins?
nothing. Actually, everything that's happening right now that's bad, it's either going to stay bad or it's going to get worse. But
The only there's again, I'm not going to vote for Trump, but it's only because a couple of Kamala's ideas are so bad that we'd be better off if she didn't even put them in place. Like, um, price, her anti gouging crap and her price fixing and all that's just terrible, terrible economics.
so yeah, I mean, just building off that. So one thing that's going to happen if Kamala stays in office, the economy is absolutely going to tank.
And I think hypothetically, I think Trump could actually get us out of Ukraine. But the way he was talking last night, it wasn't. He wasn't even like all gun ho on that. You know what I mean? But again, it's not. It's hard for the two of them to argue about war when Israel's in a war and they both back Israel. And
Well,
they
yeah.
both. And he said last night that he loves Israel pretty much.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, again, that's how hypocritical is that? You can't say that you're anti-war and then be, but we support Israel. It's yeah,
yeah, I
it
think
just doesn't compute for me.
hypothetically, Trump has a better chance of getting us out of Ukraine without it blowing up into a bigger situation than it are. I think he can straight up get us out of it, and then if Americans get out of it, it will end because there's no more funding for it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but again, he's what's going to happen if Kamala wins? Again, the economy is not going to get any better. It's almost certainly going to get worse, and it could possibly get worse under Trump too. But I think it's a guarantee if Kamala stays. It's definitely going to get worse. It's going to tank. Then you have the forever war thing, and I don't know. Is Trump going to get us out of one of the two wars? I don't know. Is Kamala? Probably not. We probably stay in both of those wars. Um, then you have things like immigration. What's going to happen with immigration if Kamala stays in office? Is it going to get better, worse, stay the same? Because yeah, worse and stay the same that's bad, and that's really concerning. I think for a lot of people, not because they're taking our jobs or anything like that, or eating cats. That's ridiculous. But I
I
think
saw
there's
something today. Instead of take our jobs, they're eating our pets. It was
yeah,
dude.
yeah, no, not that stuff. I think the real idea, the real intention is unfortunately a lot more sinister than that.
Yeah,
Again, it's happening simultaneously worldwide. You're telling me this isn't coordinated?
And what else is terrible is that Kamala is openly arguing and saying she wants to limit free speech.
Then you have the censorship, which absolutely will continue to get worse until
Censorship.
me and you get completely thrown off of YouTube along with everybody else who says something the state doesn't like.
But don't forget, like last night, she still went back to um, it's all about abortion, always about. And Trump was actually pretty good about that. He was like, "I made it a state issue. That's what it's supposed to be." And he said, "I would never." He said, "They're like, would you sign a bill that came across your desk that banned abortion?" And he's like, "I would never have to, because the bill would never come my way. It's a state issue. I fixed it. You know what I mean?"
Right, right.
But they still kept saying,
It was great.
"Oh,
Everybody loved it. It was great. Yeah,
yeah." And then
or whatever he said.
also they say that was stupid. Oh, he went to the like, and what sucks about fact checking is because it's so it'll go like by the exact word they say, and Trump doesn't kind of do that. Like he mentions that the one governor from Virginia or West Virginia said that they would do uh, uh, abortions up to like and including the ninth month. And they'll fact check and say it's not true, but then you'll see if you fact check it that way that he's talking about this guy saying it at a speech somewhere else. You know what I mean? Not like it was a law that they're trying to put into place. It's just something somebody said. But again, it just goes to Trump not knowing what the fuck he's talking about. Or like, it sounds like he only reads memes.
Like he might, maybe he does. Maybe he does. I hope he has a giant picture of that meme of him on the giant cat with the AR like hanging somewhere in his one of his houses, because that thing's
He
cool.
probably has the fight with the bloody ear. Like,
Oh yeah, with his fist up in the air. How could you not?
You should make that a Christmas card.
What's you remember Dodgeball with Ben Stiller's character? He's like this giant douche, and you see like he's got a picture of him like riding on the back of a giant tiger. Like that's what I was thinking. Yeah, but you have Trump, but it's like a giant house cat instead. Like with like an AR. I don't know. I just thought it was really funny. Anyway, so yeah, so Trump, Kamala, nobody. You think Kamala won the debate, but
I think that most people will say that. I mean, the left can easily. That's going to be like their triumph of the whole election season.
So is this the only debate we're having, or is there another debate after this? Or
I believe it's the only one.
So that's it, huh? One off, and I don't expect Kamala to do any more like interviews. Maybe one or two. Again, highly scripted.
If they can keep her out of debates and say there's no more, then her word salad doesn't mean as much because she didn't do it at the worst possible time. You know what I mean? Like because the mistake they made with Biden is debating him, and that's where they realized that he was that they couldn't cover up for him being a moron anymore, or not being a moron, just being old,
Just being old, yeah.
They couldn't cover for him being old anymore to push the agenda, and Kamala didn't suck. She wasn't good. Just Trump was very bad as well. You know what I mean? So if you want to take that as a victory. And again, even if she destroyed him, what she said was fucking bullshit.
Mm.
You know, like it's not like she's championing these great ideas.
Again, I didn't see it, so I can't really.
I don't
I
know. It's
just know what I know about those two from their character, but that's
I
it.
can't wait till it's over. I have never missed an insurance or a car commercial as much in my life as I do right now. Living here, you know, because I watch a lot of I don't have cable, so I watch a lot of YouTube or Prime or whatever, and the algorithm of commercials hits me with 3 or 4 different Kamalas, 3 or 4 different Trumps, and then I have a big Senate race going on. So it's all there's like one pro and one anti for each of the candidates. Like I'm at the point where I can almost recite these commercials when they come on, and I can't wait to like skip them.
So the only time I ever see commercials nowadays is at work, if you can believe that or not. Because now in the theater, right, like before the trailers and the
Yeah,
come
no,
on, now they show commercials, and yeah, some of them are just awful.
the it was funny because for like 2 months I had zero commercials on YouTube for no reason, no commercials ever, and I didn't want to say anything out loud because I figured I didn't want to curse it.
Right.
And then I don't know, probably about a month ago, yeah, they started coming back onto my thing. But for some reason, it was like must have had like a maybe I accidentally hit like YouTube Premium or something, and they gave me all my stuff without ads, and it wore off.
My
But
brother has that package, and he has like a family plan. So like he has like me, my sister, on it and stuff, for example. And yeah, we don't get any ads, and it's fantastic. Um,
you have the whole thing like cable too, so you get cable
no, I don't know if I have all that, but
because YouTube
maybe.
has a cable option that you can.
Maybe I don't know. It's just it's regular YouTube, but he sends me like some email or whatever that I have to like he like an invite, and then once I accept the invite, then yeah, I don't get any ads period, at all anymore, which is
Also
really
heard,
nice.
I heard a thing. I don't know if it's true that if you copy and paste the video that you want to play, and then you delete the very last slash that ends the URL code, that you won't get commercials for that ad. But I never tried it because
Oh really?
I heard that. I don't know if
Oh,
it's
I don't
true.
know.
I don't know. I also heard that if you throw a penny into a well, your wish comes true.
You know, I always used to believe that when you threw your money in, it turned into your wish.
Like I said, I'm not a doctor.
Yeah. Well,
There's anything else that was good going on. No, besides football season, I mean Barkley looking good for us.
yeah.
I went 2-2 in fantasy. I hit like I'm in like Super Bowl boxes, but for every Thursday, Sunday, Monday night game. So I paid up front. It's like me, my pops, my sister, and then my dad's business friend, and we get 4 boxes together. So we share whatever box hits. And I hit one the other night. I hit 0-0 at halftime of the first game of the year, so the Bears game. But last year, I mean, we own 4% of the boxes hypothetically, right? Because there's 100 boxes on the board. We hit way more than 4% last year. We got lucky. We won a bunch of times.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, but again, it's like some numbers are terrible. Like you might get an 8 and a 4, which you're not going to see that much in football. You know what I mean? Or like a 5. 5 suck in football.
Yeah, 4 is all right for 14, 14,
14,
24.
but like you want like 4-4, or you want like 0-7 or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
3s are nice.
What's up? You heard about the eating cats, and you didn't want to be in the room for that, huh?
I'm trying to see what else. I mean,
Nobody's
some good
eating you.
economic stuff. The market's been a little crazy, but I don't know. I think a lot of stuff's kind of in limbo until for the next few days because the election took up everybody's not the election the debate
The
took up
debate, yeah.
time.
Yeah, we'll see. I got a little lucky this week in fantasy. I actually won both my games, and one of them, like, I was almost a victim of the time zone because I forgot to start. My kicker was out, and anyway, long story short, I wake up on Sunday morning, It's like 10:30. I was like, oh yeah, let me set my fantasy team before I go to work later. And I go on. I was like, wait, this game already started? What the? And then I remembered. I was like, oh shit, the time zone changed. So yeah, I actually didn't start a kicker in your league, but fortunately it didn't burn me.
Do you have a TV close enough where you at work that you can like throw on Sports Center or
Oh yeah, we
NFL
have
Network?
TVs on at the bar and stuff.
That's what I figured. So you can just throw on like Red Zone and you're good to go at work.
Yeah, not Red Zone, but they usually have like, the local channels on. So like, the Vegas, the Raiders will be playing.
They don't.
And then
You don't get remote control power.
what's that?
You don't get remote control power.
I don't know. I probably could, but I never actually asked.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm sure I could change the channel if I asked them. But downstairs, like whenever I'm not busy, like a lot of times I'll just go into the casino, like go downstairs or whatever, and they have there's a sports bar like right underneath us, and they have like all kinds of TVs. So I don't go in the sports bar, but like the whole side of it's glass, so I can kind of just walk over to the edge of it and just peer in and see the scores real quick if I want. So yeah, I do have access to watch the games. I didn't really partake at all this weekend.
Did you see what I showed you about Thomas Massey? Did you watch that Thomas Massey clip?
Maybe
the 6-minute one when he was talking about. You would know. You saw it. It was so good.
I've reposted a bunch of his stuff on my own feed recently, so I don't know if.
Well, it was on his yesterday, so go back and look for it. It's about him. He's at he's in one of the chamber meetings, and it's his turn to talk, and he's talking about how this is bullshit, and he's like, what's going to happen is if we're going to sign this and this isn't going to happen, they're actually going to get what they want, but this is stupid. No one's going to listen and all this stuff. Everyone's kind of like trying to pretend it's not them.
Yes, I did see that where he calls out both sides.
And he destroys them.
Yeah, he calls out everybody. Yeah, which is awesome.
Oh.
One of the few good.
Listen to Thomas Massey.
Yeah, he's one of the few like honorable people in politics from what I gather. There's a couple of them, but not many, that's for sure. Most of them are bought and paid for, unfortunately.
People don't understand that. It's what drives crazy.
Well, again, you don't need a conspiracy when powerful interests align.
Yep.
No conspiracy necessary. If there's money to be made, if I can make money and you can make money, that's it. We can pull Jim in and he can make money, and then Joe Schmo can come in and we can all make money.
Yeah, the debate really just put me in a half a downer mood today. I almost wish I didn't watch it.
I'm not sure I want to watch it after.
At least watching it, every clip I see, I just skip. I don't even fucking pay attention. And then a lot of the YouTubes, the podcasts that I watch, if they're talking about it, I skip them for the day.
Yeah, maybe take the day off from debates. Take the rest of the week off from debates if you want.
The coverage.
Well, again, I feel like people are gonna talk about it. It obviously just happened. It's kind of important. We actually had to talk about it. Then you said you didn't want to talk about it anymore, and now we're talking about it again. But whatever.
Well, I didn't want to talk about it. I was going to say I was just depressed about it. That I hate that. Like I said, I hate that this is what we're working with.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm not even surprised. I'm not surprised, but I don't know.
We'll see what happens.
I wish people just fucking woke up a little bit.
That's why we're here, right?
Well, yeah, we're here to talk about it, but we can only bring you to the water. We can't make them drink, Paul.
That's right. Yeah,
I'm
pretty sure my whole family thinks I'm nuts, and I say a lot of stuff that sounds crazy.
Yeah, my mom knows. My mom tells me that I'm right. She could be lying, but she tells me that I'm right. She knows I'm right.
She could be.
The old man's one way, sister's the other way, and nothing in the world is going to change their fucking minds.
Well, it's like you just said. You can lead the horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So Everybody has to wake up themselves through whatever means they woke up from,
Yeah, I mean,
and it's different for all of us.
the lesser of two evils argument. At the end of the day, I mean, you can weigh the evil all you want, right? Then you're still supporting one of them. So, I mean, if you're going to be a hypocrite, just be it. I would rather be like, at least Trumpers are like, I know my guy sucks, but I'm going to vote for him. The Democrats are kind of like, your guy sucks, and ours doesn't.
Or ours
You know
doesn't
what I mean?
suck as bad as yours does. So anything to keep Trump out of the White House, or whatever. I don't whatever they say. I'm with you though. We kind of touched on that real briefly in the last episode. Like, I just can't. I would obviously never vote for the machine. So Kamala's already out. There's the machine already has enough fuel. We don't need to give it any more. But Trump, I can't vote for him either because I'd really have to compromise like some of my own principles to vote for him. And I'm not willing to do that.
Yeah, there's a good clip in the wire, and I'll send it to you so you can throw it in here. All the police brass is at Comstat. It's like the meeting they all have once a week in front of like the commissioner and the assistant commissioner, right? And they get the speech about how they're going to go out and how they have to police harder, right, and get the numbers down. So in the elevator, or at one scene, the captain's talking to his like deputies, his lieutenant, and he's like, so basically they're saying more of the same, and he's like, no, more of the same, but better.
More the same, but better.
I feel like Kamala is just more of the same, and Trump's more of the same, but different. It's still shit. It's just a different flavor of shit. When the GOP and the DNC are one kind of shit, and Trump's just a different pile of shit.
He could be. I like to think that he's not, but
Yeah, I know. I mean, if I had to pick one, gun to my head, I'm not gonna. It's obvious that I take Trump over Kamala.
Oh, in a second. You don't even have to put the gun to my head. Relax. Yeah,
I mean,
for sure. But
I
go ahead.
disagree with so much of the progressive left. I disagree with pretty much fucking everything they have to say about anything. And not the idea is not like, oh, we should help the poor. Oh, we need education, right? How to comprehend the fact of doing these things. It's like they possibly can't think to do anything without the government doing it for them.
Right. I agree with that. Obviously, I lean very left when it comes to, moral human rights issues, things like that. Yeah, I lean very left. So, yeah.
See, I thought for a minute I leaned left too at parts, but the thing is, the left doesn't lean anywhere. It's not like anyone can say, I want better healthcare, or I want better education, or we need this, or we need that. But they never have an answer. You're literally just doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
Which is the definition of insanity.
And then making excuses for why you do it.
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but
I wish the election was like tomorrow, just so I can get to the end of it.
Well, we're almost there. We got like another 2 months or so. And we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think this one's crucial. I wish we had some better candidates.
It would be crucial if we had better candidates, and if the president didn't have as much power as he does right now, because he's not supposed to. It really shouldn't matter who the president is.
No, it shouldn't, because the president's not supposed to be able to act without the approval of Congress, and it's
your governor should be more powerful than the
people
president.
think that the president, if Trump gets in office, he's taking over. Like, no, that's not how that works. That's a dictatorship. That's not what we have. Well. Anyway.
But it doesn't matter who's, because again, the power of the president has been expanded beyond any possible realm of what the founding fathers thought or wrote down what the president should be doing. We just keep giving him more, or them, the position, more and more power when it shouldn't. And again, it's also because the government's too fucking big.
Yeah.
But it's going to be one of the hardest I told you so's that I give that I don't want to give. But when it goes to shit, it's not going to feel good when I say I told you so. It will
You're
feel
not
good.
gonna want to. You're not gonna want to say it.
I'm going to want to say it to some people.
Maybe some, but I mean, it's not gonna bring you any joy because it's literally gonna. We're gonna be in some shit.
We're going to be
You
some
know,
shit.
so it's not like you're gonna be happy to say it. You're gonna be like, "I told you so." You know,
I'm going to say it like every time.
look what you did.
Every time we're like about to do something because the world went to shit, I'm be like, remember this happened because you fucks voted this way. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah.
Why I'm,
I mean,
why I'm like I'm fucking Robin Hood in Monolive Woods. I'm like, I wouldn't have to be stealing from these people if it wasn't for you and your stupid voting.
right. I don't know, man, because like part of me, like, I understand it. You know, again, some of the stuff that we talk about on this show, you know, it just again, it sounds so crazy, you know. And I haven't even gotten to like the real crazy stuff yet. But, you know, like just the 9/11 stuff, for example. It sounds so crazy that like, yeah, it really is hard to believe. I think for some people until you take some time and you go down the rabbit hole and you're like, "Wait, that doesn't really make sense." Oh, that's a strange coincidence. Wait, that's weird, you know.
But I'm not even trying to have people go down the water hole or the rabbit hole. I'm trying to show you the straight up shit in front of your face.
Right. Yeah, for me, I just, you know, I just try to share information, promote free speech, and, you know, like I said, here's the watering trough. Do whatever you want with it, or leave it there. Pretend you didn't see it if that's the way you want to go.
Well, I don't know what it's going to take for some people to just be willing to look at something that doesn't reinforce what you already assume to be correct.
Yeah. Well,
some people. I'll talk about 9/11 and anything that has to do with the conspiracy. The Federal Reserve and central banking isn't a conspiracy.
Right.
Your elected officials passing these laws that, if you paid attention, are not good for you is not a conspiracy. The shit is happening in front of your face.
Fluoride in the water, chemicals in the food. I mean, this isn't conspiracy stuff. You can look this shit up. It's public.
You know, they're going to argue about abortion. It's been the same argument since I've been voting. My first presidential election was in 2000. So they've been arguing about that even before that. You know what I mean? It's abortion, it's guns, it's up taxes, no taxes. You know what I mean? But shit never gets cheaper. Shit never gets freer.
No, that's a big problem. Yeah, it doesn't even. You know, again, it's like chemtrails. You know, again, it's the same thing. Excuse me. Geoengineering. So Tennessee, Utah pass a bill to ban it, right? 5 more states in the works. You have RFK talking about it now. So again, oh, it's a conspiracy theory. Well, then why did Tennessee pass a law banning it? Why did Utah follow suit? Why are 5 other states now have laws in the works?
Well, you said RFK, and RFK is antivirus, and that's enough to shut. It doesn't matter if it's true. I know it's not true, but that is how people think.
Of course, because the smear campaigns on RFK are that he's this wacky conspiracy, you know, theory pushing, anti-vax, blah blah blah, all the terrible stuff or I shouldn't say terrible, but all the untrue things that they say about him, you know.
They run all these testings on people, like showing people pictures or memes or whatever that, like, if you see a meme that, like, say you're a Trump fan and someone shows you an anti-Trump meme, the things that go off in your brain are like the same things that go off during when you get mad.
Yeah.
Or like fight or flight or whatever, because we've been conditioned so much to, like, everyone's like, oh, like Kamala said a lot of this last night. Stop dividing. You're dividing everybody. And you know, like,
I actually agree with her there. Go ahead.
Yeah, but she's saying he's doing it, as like, in saying that she's not.
Right, not that he's doing it, but I do agree that, yeah, stop dividing. Stop. Please.
Yeah, but it's
both
them,
sides, stop.
It's just them playing us.
I think that's what it is at the end of the day, is we're getting messed with.
People get mad at you and me, not mad, but like, we'll say we're full of shit or we're crazy or we don't know what we're talking about, just because we say things that don't necessarily go along with what you already think to be true.
So there's a psychological aspect of it too, right? And to go along with the herd, right? With
it's
the rest.
Psyop.
Yeah. Yes. So to go along with the rest of the herd, right? It's almost like a natural thing for humans to want to do. So Candace Owens has something that the CIA did like back in the 60s. It was like a study that they did, right? She was talking about it on one of her episodes, I think like a month ago or so I saw it. And I'll just break it down real quick. So they put 18 people in a room, right? 18 dudes. You know about it? All right, well, I'll tell the audience. So they put 18 dudes in a room. 17 of them are CIA. One of them has no idea like what's going on. He's just a random normal citizen, right? So they show a picture of a triangle and they ask the first CIA guy, "Hey, what shape is this?" And he says square. And they go through all the CIA guys and they all say that it's a square, even though you can clearly see that it's a triangle. And then when they get to the normal citizen and they ask him, "What do you think he says?" He says it's a square.
Yeah,
Right?
and like nine out of 10 times they say square, right?
Yeah, something like that.
'Cause
And
it's
again,
either
that's the power of psych. Like, even though you know that it's not, all of these other people just told you something, so you feel compelled, obligated, whatever, to just go along with the herd, even though they're not, even though you know deep down that that's not right, you know? And who knows? Maybe after you tell yourself like something like that over and over and over again, maybe you finally do actually start to believe that it's a square.
well, yeah, well, the lies remembered more than the truth. You know what
Yep.
I mean? Well,
Yeah, it's a powerful thing. So, when we talk about like, leading people to the water trough, and I try to really like be reserved and not get angry because I was led to the water trough a couple times and didn't drink from it. I do now, but those people must have been frustrated with me. So I try to be empathetic.
I was one of them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
if you showed me another Yahoo News article again, I was gonna fucking kill you.
Yeah, that was my main source of news. Excuse me, propaganda.
That's
Uh,
the majority of a lot of people's
yes.
because they're like, oh, I get my news from the internet, not cable news. But they don't realize that when you open up, if you're home browser, you sign on to the internet, right? Like back in the day, it was AOL's homepage. You
Mhm.
came into AOL. Now most people, it's Google's homepage or Yahoo's homepage or whatever the fuck. But it's
MSN or whatever. Yeah.
their homepage. And I know there's people who are like, I was talking to somebody and they're like, oh, I started using Ground News. Have you heard of Ground News?
Yeah, I follow it.
Okay. Yeah, but when's the last time you saw an article in Ground News that was like not from one of the two parties in the first place?
I
You
haven't
know what I mean?
seen.
When's the last
Go
time
ahead.
you saw like it'll tell you that it's biased left or right, right? It'll say this article leans left and this version of it leans right, and this is what you should read if you want to get it. But if you see the middle, what do they tell you? What newspaper is like in the middle, like the Independent or something? Is not like they got it from fucking a bunch of experts who went on it. It's just they just get all the news sources and compare them for you.
Yes.
Like they'll show you Fox News and CNN. That's not looking at both sides. That's what I mean. I guess it kind of is, but it's not looking at the fucking problem. You're looking
Yeah.
at two different versions of bullshit.
Well, it's funny because I still use Yahoo News. I don't get my news from there, but I go and I see something, right? Like I'll see something on Twitter or X or whatever, and I'll see the truth of it. I'll watch the video or whatever it is. And then I go on Yahoo and then I read the article I'm like, oh my God, this is a complete lie. Like, no, I actually just watched the video. This person never says that. This also never happens in the manner that you're describing it. So I actually still use Yahoo News nowadays, but mostly for a good laugh.
Well, my home, I guess if I have a home one, it's just like it's a search bar. But if I hit Google, it brings me to like the Google homepage, which is sort of a
Yeah.
news thing. You know what I mean? But even on like social networking and stuff, um, they tend to send you more shit that you're more likely to engage with. So if you're a Trumper and you love busting the left's balls, they're going to send you a bunch of stupid shit on the left,
Mm-hmm.
or vice versa. Or all you do is love Trump and never read CNN or anything. They'll just send you all the pro-Trump stuff because you're more likely to engage with it.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, it's a business. I mean, yeah, it's propaganda fueled as well, but these companies are there to get you to view their content, or view content on their platform is what I should say. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, but it's pretty eye-opening to go on Yahoo News and to, find independent journalists reporting on the same story to
Yeah, but
see
it's not
how
like
drastically different.
but it's not like the algorithm is going to show you again. It's the algorithm fit for you. So
Yeah.
it's not going to be like the algorithm's not going to be like, oh, you happen to like this, and the algorithm's like, oh, this is false. So I'm going to show you the truth. You know what I mean? It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work to help you. It
Right.
works. It
So
works to keep you engaged, so they can later sell that shit for advertising.
yeah, so actually, somebody brought that up to Elon the other day on X, and they were like, "Hey, why am I getting?" I guess they were, a Trump fan or whatever, but they were like, "Why am I getting all of this left wing propaganda, news, left wing stuff in my feed?" And Elon was basically like, "Hey, I get that too, and it's because I commented on such and such post," which I think is true because there's been a couple times I stopped doing it recently, but there was a couple times where I went and like responded to Joe Biden or Nancy Pelosi. They didn't respond to me, but I commented on their on their posts, and then yeah, of course I started getting a lot more like left side left views.
Yeah, it
You
happens
know,
on YouTube.
yeah,
Like,
because my algorithm changed because now I'm communicating with people who are in that community. So it does make sense, um, to some degree, why that would happen.
yeah, I feel like if you on Twitter, if you use the following, which is only people that are following, or if you use the for you gives me both
Yeah,
sides, and I wouldn't even call my side a side because I follow libertarian shit mostly, or like podcasts and economic shit, you know. But when I'm on the for you side, I get all of it. I get like that Brooklyn Dad Defiant, JoJo from Jers,
yeah.
you know, all that.
Harry Sisson or Sissy or whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah. But he's like he's a different kind of influencer.
I'm pretty sure he's paid, but
What's up?
I'm pretty sure he's on the payroll.
He is, but he's a different kind. Like you don't see videos like that of Brooklyn Dad or whatever. They just kind of show memes or stupid articles or whatever. But that Harry Sisson dude is like him. He's like a personality as opposed to a Twitter page.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, I think the algorithm, yeah, I don't know. I mean, overall, I think it's a good thing, obviously, because I want to see stuff that I'm interested in.
Well, no, I feel you on that. That wasn't what I was trying to get at. That
No,
doesn't
I know. I was just go ahead.
works for you in ways that it's targeted against you.
Yeah, no, I know, but yeah, it can be used for negative purposes as well. Like hiding stuff that they don't want you to see, or that the state doesn't want you to see, or whatever, or
Yeah,
maybe
I mean,
pushing things that they do want you to see. So yeah, I think that
we're reinforcing bullshit because how many
yeah,
people
sure,
think that Trump is a Russian agent?
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, I think so.
All right, let's end it there because I got work.
All right.
So, all right, Paul, it's good talking to you. Remember to everybody out there to like and subscribe and share it with your friends. Help us out because if you're watching this, you probably know us. So help us out a little bit. I'm out. Later, Paul.
Later, man.
We're in deep shit now, Francis.
Oh, shit.